We're going back now to one of our top stories. And after London and Paris, the Ukrainian president is heading to Brussels this morning for a summit of EU leaders. His surprise visits have been garnering lots of attention in the media. Our press reviewer, Deepti Gilleron, is here to tell us more.
Well, Sharon, let's start with that trip to Paris. The Ukrainian leader actually gave an interview to the French newspaper Le Figaro. You see it here in their coverage today. It's a wide-ranging interview in which he tells the French Daily that Russia is, quote, 99% losing the war, and once again reiterates those calls on the West to provide more weapons to overcome their last hesitations and provide more weapons so that that the Ukrainian troops need to fight this war, warning that if this isn't the case, Vladimir Putin will take his war beyond Ukrainian borders.
A lot of reaction to in the British papers, Deepti, after Zelensky made that speech to Parliament at Westminster.
That's right. He did begin that trip in a similar vein to the Paris trip, making a plea for fighter jets and also praising former Prime Minister Boris Johnson for his support. The street paper Metro here on their front page pays tributes to ties between the two countries with this headline here, UK, Ukraine, with the two flags there. It's very symbolic. Definitely one that reiterates those ties, that solidarity between the two countries. The Guardian's cartoonist poking a bit of fun today at Zelensky's tribute here to Boris Johnson. In this cartoon, you have Rishi Sunak, the current Prime Minister, sort of haunted by the ghosts of Prime Ministers past, as he has to sheepishly remind Volodymyr Zelensky who he actually is. So you sort of get a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor there from the Guardian's cartoonist. Meanwhile, The Sun on its front page focusing on Zelensky's meeting with King Charles. Thanks for the tea, it says, now give me your jets. The Sun also, the editors of The Sun today making a statement, indeed urging British leaders to give, it says, Ukraine's heroes the planes that they need.
Something a little bit different. Deepti, researchers have published a paper in the journal Nature that has made some startling discoveries about a dwarf planet.
Well, this dwarf planet named Kawar is named after the creator god of the indigenous Tongva people who live around Los Angeles, actually orbits the sun in the Kuiper Belt. It's a region of frozen debris that also includes the planet Pluto. Now, the discovery that they made, this startling discovery, was that there is actually a ring around this dwarf planet, as you see in this article from the New York Times, much like the rings you might find around Saturn. But the thing is, it occurs at a distance where simple gravitational calculations suggest that there shouldn't be any rings. That's what the New York Times explains. They say that the French astronomer Edouard Roche actually made calculations in 1848 called the Roche limit, whereby rings fitting his calculation would remain a ring, while outside that limit, it would coalesce into a moon. Now, this dwarf planet in particular does not fit these calculations, which is why that discovery is so startling, really underpinning how little we know about our solar system.
Madonna is hitting out at ageism. She's defending herself over criticism over her physical appearance at the Grammys.
Well, yeah, that's right. She introduced singers Sam Smith and Kim Petras, who actually became the first trans woman to win a Grammy in those Grammy Awards on the weekend. Now, British Vogue says instead of focusing on her speech, on the speech that she gave at the Grammys about radical self-acceptance, news outlets and the internet alike were instead focused on her physical appearance. The internet really honing in on what they say was her unrecognizable appearance, many accusing her of overdoing it on the plastic surgery. Well, Madonna has defended herself. British Vogue reports that she posted a post on Instagram defending herself from what she calls a glare of ageism and misogyny in a world that refuses to celebrate women past the age of 45, and a world that continues to punish women who are strong-willed, hardworking, and adventurous. And on that note, the New York Times today really pays tribute to Madonna and her new face, calling it a brilliant provocation. They pay tribute to, quote, one of our era's greatest chameleons. As the writer says here, if beauty is a construct, well, Madonna is the one who puts its scaffolding on display. Sharon.
Finally, Deepti, India's Animal Welfare Board is putting forward a new idea. It's about renaming Valentine's Day.
Well, that's right. The board, pardon me, decrying the dazzle of Western civilization that's pushing ancient Indian traditions to the brink of extinction is pushing back against these Western ideas. They want February the 14th to be renamed Cow Hug Day. Cows, of course, being the backbone of Indian culture, but also India's rural economy. Farmers, however, have criticized the move, asking the board where all this love was when they lost a lot of their cattle recently to a devastating skin disease that has seen milk production and milk revenue drop for many farmers. I guess farmers are not feeling the love, but the Animal Welfare Board is certainly encouraging Indians to hug a cow this Valentine's Day.
They have no beef with the tradition. Deepti, thanks so much for that. That's our press reviewer, Deepti Laurent.